Hi everyone. Now, before I even get started today, I'm making probably one of the most basic cheeses you can make. So this is good just to start off with. I'm not an expert on cheese making. So I have been making my own different cheeses and paneer and all that kind of stuff ever since I was a kid. So the kind of method I use and the way I do it for basic cheeses works well for me, and as I said, it is very basic. So I know there's lots of people out there who do make cheese professionally and non-professionally, and everyone's got their own little bits and pieces and stuff like that. So this is just my interpretation. This is the way I do to make a basic cheese. But obviously for further info, there's heaps of cheese making sites, and even here on YouTube, if you just put in search for cheese making, you'll find heaps. So cool. Now I've got what I tried to get together today was everything I needed. So I've got some milk on. It's just about at the right temperature now. Now you can use a thermometer, which is probably the best way. I generally have always kind of gone for, once I start heating the milk, once the bubbles start to form around the side, keep stirring it occasionally so I don't get the skin on top and you don't burn it. Once the bubbles start to form around the outside and it starts to just tickle over, bubbling, it's generally pretty right. Now I'm just going to be using milk, of course. Now I'm using organic milk. I've got white vinegar, salt, spoon for stirring. Now I would normally use a cheesecloth as well, but me being me, can't for the life of me find my cheesecloth. So I've got some clean linen here. Now try not to use, if you don't have cheesecloth is nice because it's perfect and it is cheesecloth. If you use something like a tea towel or something like that, you get fluff on the cheese itself, so try and use something nice and clean, like a linen kind of thing, something that's going to drain well. But this is the Hobo cheese making beginner course. So let me grab my milk. Alright, now you can see there how the bubbles are starting to form on it, and it's just starting to kind of foam gently. Now this is what I do, I take it off the heat once it gets to that point. Alright. Now I just get my vinegar. Now generally to a litre of milk I probably add about 3-4 tablespoons of vinegar, but I'm a bit of a hack. So generally I'll put some in, a few glugs, and just see how it goes. Give it a bit of a stir and just kind of see. Now that's probably about enough. You can use different things, lemon juice, people use apple cider vinegar. I think it makes the cheese gives it too much of an acidic kind of tang to it, so I just use general white vinegar. Now you can see there already how it started to separate. The curds and the whey have separated already. Look at that. So just gentle, give it a nice gentle stir. And the other thing too, make sure everything's nice and clean as well, alright? So pots, pans, the linen you're using, cheesecloth, the area, all that kind of stuff, nice and tidy and clean, okay? Alright, now from here, you can just let it, I generally just let it sit for a little bit just to kind of cool down, basically. Just a little bit, just to kind of let everything do its job. Now I've got probably about, now I was going to make a cup of tea, so I saved a bit of milk out of the 2 litre milk, so I've probably got just under 2 litres of milk in there. Now that's coming along nice. So this is kind of nice. I think cheeses like this, which is just a basic cheese, A, they're easy, and B, they're quite nice if you're going to have people around for, like, you know, a dinner party or just for lunch or something like that, because it's so easy just to knock up some cheese like this that you can use it for when they come around, like as a canapé and this and that, and you know, it's kind of nice to talk about it. And if you've made your own, and then, you know, hopefully someone there might think, oh, that's a good idea, and then you can tell them, and then they make it, and then so on and so on. So it kind of keeps going on from there. Right, now I might just drain this off. Now obviously, be careful with all this stuff, it's all hot. I don't want to sound like a geek, but be careful. Now, make sure too, if you, like normally I'd have cheesecloth, make sure too that there's enough give on each side. If it's kind of near the edge, and you pour it in, and then takes it in, the cloth will just collapse in on itself, and it makes it really difficult. So make sure there's enough overlap on the sides too, alright? So, now, obviously just pour away from yourself. And make sure that the dish that you're actually pouring into is allowing the sieve. So this dish here, make sure that the sieve is high enough above the depth of that bowl, so the way when you pour this out, it's not sitting in the way again, okay? So that's just another little tip. Alright, that's pretty much all of it. There's a couple of little bits on the bottom. Alright, so that's that. Now the whey itself, you can use that for a lot of things. I know traditionally in my family I come from dairy farmers, and they would feed the whey back to the cows and to pigs and all that kind of stuff, and it was because it's such a high source of protein, it fattened them up quite well, so you could do that. Now you can use it for different things too, for baking, etc. And you can see that draining away. I'll take the sieve away. Now this is another little thing I wanted to point out too. I always use organic milk. Now I always notice when I use organic milk as opposed to regular, I haven't used regular milk for a decade, but it's always a different colour the whey. So that's always interesting too. So it makes me wonder about the milk process. Now just give it a little squeeze. Now you can just let it sit there. Now you could use this whey, now you can just empty it into another container. And what you can do, now I just happen to have, you can use a bit of string of course, I've got a couple of elastic bands. Now I just tie the top a little bit. Now you can see how a cheesecloth would be a lot easier. Right, so that gives us a nice little bag. Be careful, it's still hot. Now let that drain for a while and cool down, and then when you open the bag, now you can, now this is something I should have mentioned first off. Now what I normally do, now when you're pouring the curds into the bag itself, some people salt the curds then. I don't. This is just the way I do it. Now, I'm really not thinking today, am I? Because I've just put those elastic bands on and I just want to take them off again. So sorry about that. I should really write a script or something, shouldn't I? I never do with my videos. I just barge in. Hey, how you going? Blah, blah, blah. Alright, now, there's our cheese. Look at that. You can just try, if you want to just try a little bit. Nice. What you can do, what I generally do, is just break it up a little bit. Like so. Just be gentle with it. It's really quite nice at this stage. And then I salt it. Heaps. So the salt will obviously just add that little bit of flavour to the cheese, and it helps draw out some of that moisture that's still in there too. Alright, so that's basically it. Let it cool down, and you can just, it's quite warm still, but I can, if you've got asbestos hands, you can touch it still. So that's not too bad. And that's it, that's just the basic cheese. So you can put these into little moulds and put them in the fridge, let it cool down a bit first. You can use it in cooking. I quite like this, put into a mould and then cut up, sorry I shouldn't be talking while I'm eating, should I? and then cut up into cubes and used in curry, vegetarian curry. It's really nice. But try it, because it's lovely, really nice. So this is the most basic cheese making you can do. I'll do a few more videos, but I thought I was making this today for tonight, so I thought I might as well just quickly film it while I'm doing it. So that's it. There's your cheese. How easy was that? Now again, just be careful, make sure you've got all your equipment, cheesecloth, stuff like that. Make sure everything's clean, and just go from there. Cool. Alright. Any questions, give me a yell. Like I said, I'm just a very basic cheese making person, so I just make, like I said, paneers and just basic cheeses like this. But for more professional cheese making, there's heaps of videos and books that are out there that are worth checking out too. I'm actually going to make some feta soon as well, so I'll do a video on that. Cool. Alright. Thanks for watching. Oh, and I know I've plugged it before, but I am quite excited about it. The website's open up now, www.theproducegarden.com, and my first book is available on there. It's going quite well at the moment, which is quite good, which is The Beginner's Guide to Self-Sufficiency. So if you can, have a look, check it out. So yeah, alright, any questions, give me a yell. And thank you for watching. See ya.